get started. Welcome, everyone. My name is Rose Maxwell, and I am presenting here with my colleague, Kelly McCarty, and I'll just let her introduce herself when she's up because she's going to be doing the teaching today. This session is being recorded. If this is your first live session that you've come to this year, you'll need to register in the PD portal. But if you've come to others, you do not need to do that again. To register for just this session, there's going to be a registration form in the chat, and then make sure that you choose Remote K2 Seesaw Basics from the drop-down. This is a 30-minute action-packed session, and we're going to have time at the end for questions as well as during the session. We want to begin with a tribal land acknowledgement. We respectfully acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Coast Salish people. So our norms for this meeting, it's recorded, as I said, and once that recording is processed, it will be on the live learning page on our ESD website. If you have questions, please post them in the chat, and we'll try and get to those. When you're not speaking, please mute your microphone. Assume positive intent. This Seesaw wasn't meant to be changed in the middle of a school year. And so this is all new learning that we're doing. And we are learning right alongside you. And if the pace is going at a rate that isn't working for you, please don't worry. Just contact your tech coach for either a drop-in or a scheduled session, and we're here to support you. So Kelly's going to take you through the website and all of this information. So if it is going at a pace that doesn't work for you, you can always refer back to that. She's going to show you how to set up a new class, how to find and assign activities. There's the new school-wide portfolios that she's going to walk you through, and then we're going to have time for question and answer. So the website that has all of this Seesaw information is on our ESD staff resources, and that link is in your Edmunds bookmarks. And so right here, I'm going to turn you over to Kelly.
Thanks, Rose. As Rose mentioned, I'm Kelly McCarty. I'm one of the elementary instructional tech coaches. Are all of the directions to the things that we're doing, I'm going to be showing you today, are on this staff resources for continuous learning website. And I'm just going to click on the Seesaw homepage. And the Seesaw homepage, we've recently reorganized it into 6 different categories. But from this page, you have links to how to do all of these things. And it's pretty easy to navigate. And so I'm going to be walking you through this setting up a class page. And just so you know, there's screenshots and directions and hopefully pretty easy to navigate. And so I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. So the first thing, we're going to go to seesaw.me. Feel free, if you want to go into your Seesaw class and do some of this with me, that's fine. Otherwise, you can just watch and watch the recording later or refresh your memory with the website. So I'm in seesaw.me, and I'm going to click that I'm a teacher, and I want to make sure that I sign in with Google, because when I sign in with Google, that gives me access to my district account, which is my paid Seesaw for Schools account. And I am now logged in as a teacher, and I'm in one of my classes. And I'm actually going to flip over to this confusing Skyward name class. All of you are going to be getting new, well, I'm assuming that you're here because you'll be getting a new Seesaw class around about March 18th. You will have access to your previous class if you already have a Seesaw class. There'll be about a 2-day overlap where you'll have both classes. And you'll know that your new class, if you haven't changed the name of your old class, I guess they'd be the same, but there's all those letters and numbers that are Skyward generated classes. And so I want to make sure that you know how to change the display name. And so you'll want to go up to the wrench, and the very first thing under class settings is the class name. And if I click on that, all I have to do is just delete that skyward stuff that doesn't make sense. And I'm going to add the word remote and make sure that I have my grade level and my name. So it's easily accessible for kids and for families so they know what's their new class, because they're going to be able to see all the specialist classes. The parents have a lot in the parent app, have a lot of classes to see. So if you just add remote to the front of your class name, that's actually really helpful. It saves itself. So I can actually, if I push enter, then it just, you saw that it populated over here, and I can close that out. So now my class is called Remote Second McCarty. And the next thing that I want to show you is you'll want to make sure that your kids have access to your Zoom link. So most of you are starting with some new kids. I doubt that anyone got to keep all of their kids, although if you did, you're very lucky. And so the first thing that I would do probably on the 19th or sometime before the 22nd is make sure that I add a post that has my Zoom link in it. And so I like to put it in the notes so that it's a live link that they can click on from within the post. If you put it in a journal post, if you put it in, sorry, let me just show you. If you put it in the drawing, it doesn't show it as a live link. So, but if I put it here, welcome to our new Seesaw class. I look forward to being with you, with you for the rest of this school year. Here is our new Zoom link, and then there's our link. See you on Monday, March 22nd at whatever time, at 9 o'clock, at 9 a.m. Something like that. And then I click the green check mark, and I can make a recording of this if I want them to be able to play the audio direction or audio recording, but I'm just going to go ahead and click the green check mark. I'm going to put it for all students. So all students can see it, and it doesn't need to go in a folder. And then there it is, it shows up. And like I said, it's a live link that they can click on when instead of having to copy and paste it. Something else that you'll probably want to do is you'll want this to live at the top of everyone's journals so that they can easily access it. So the 3 dots down here, if I click pin to top, that makes this stay at the top for everyone so that every time they log into their Seesaw class, this is at the top. It's easy to access. The Zoom link is probably one of the most important things that they have prior to March 22nd so that they can join you. You'll want to make an announcement in addition to the journal post. You can put all of the same information in your announcement as well, but I feel like it's easy to have this on the journal. When parents get a new Seesaw class for their student, they can't actually see the class until you've made an announcement. You have to establish contact first. So the 2 things you'll want to do is make a journal post that has your Zoom link, and then make an announcement so that parents can actually see the class. If you don't make an announcement for several weeks, they won't be able to see anything in that course until you make contact. So I'm going to click the plus sign. I'm actually going to copy and paste what I wrote here. Oops, maybe it'll let me do that. We'll see. I want to go back and click add, send announcement. And so I can save time for you guys. Here's my announcement. And I can add an attachment if I want to add a newsletter or something else. Please be aware that Seesaw translates for you to parents' home, like whatever language they have on their phone or on their computer browser. So any text that you write in here will be translated. If you add an attachment, that will not be translated for families. So just be aware of that. Send to. I want to send to all students and family members on this, at least for this first announcement, so that all students see it and the family members see it. And again, that will make the course visible to them. And then I want to send it now. Great. So now they have their announcement. and I can interact with families here on the inbox. These are the families. Also, something to be aware of that you may already know, you cannot send private messages to students, but you can send private messages to families. And so that's just something to be aware of. If you want to see which students have families already linked to their account, you can go down here and click plus families, and it's going to load. The cool thing about Seesaw for Schools, which our district has paid for, is that all of the kids that had families linked to them prior will stay linked. So you won't have to resend out, hopefully, very many invites, because families, it's March, and hopefully families have already joined. But if I take a look here, I can see that Henry Mullins has this email address connected, and student 03 has this email address connected. Oh, but Jennifer, there's nobody connected for her. So I can do several things. I can either share an invite link if I have an email address and send her the link to this, send the family the link to that. I can also print out an invite and you can change the language here. So if you know that Jennifer's family speaks a different language, you can print it out in that language and then send it home with your materials that you send out to families. Or you can just type in the phone number and email address and it'll send them an invite. So that's how you invite families. And again, you can see that you can add multiple family members for each kid. So if you have grandma, but you also want the aunt or something, you can add that here and have multiple family members for each kid.
Kelly?
Yes.
About if parents accepted an invitation to view a previous teacher, will that carry over to the new class?
Yes. So if they've already been linked to their student, that will carry over to. So if you're getting kids from someone else's class, but the parents were already linked in the previous class, they'll still be linked in your class as well. Was that the question? Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes. So you shouldn't, in theory, you shouldn't have to send out very many family invites, but you can try if there's anybody not connected. All right. If you want to add a co-teacher to your class, or maybe you want to add a para to your class so they can view, you'll also want to go up here and click the wrench and go down to manage teachers. Where is that? Oops, I went right by it. Manage teachers under class. I was right at the top under class settings. And you can either click here to generate an invite link, and you can send the link in an email, or you can just type in the teacher's email address. So if I add Rose to my account, I'm going to invite her. And so she'll get an email that says, you've been asked to join this Seesaw class. With Seesaw for Schools, you can have up to 10 co-teachers. So I could add my teammate if you want, and a para, maybe your admin, whoever you want. You can do that under Manage Teachers. All right, so I have pretty much gone through our staff resources website. And I have gone through all of these things except for edit student names to include A or B. That's what hybrid teachers are doing because they have two different courses. They have two different classes, or one class, but two different groups of kids. So they'll need to add A's before the kids' names who are in their A group and B before the kids' names that are in their B group. Because you just have one group of kids for remote learning, you don't need to do that. And be aware that if you do change students' display names, that will change their display name for every Seesaw class that they're in. So we kind of, unless a kid has done a legitimate name change, we don't usually change their display names unless necessary, because it'll show up that way. And the other thing I didn't show you how to do, but you have the option to do, is use emojis at the end of it. This is again with the display name. Like if you have small groups and you wanted to differentiate the small groups and be able to see it really quickly, an option would be to add an emoji at the end, but it's not necessary and you don't really need to do it. Okay. So I want to go into this using Seesaw page and to show you how to find and assign an activity from the activity library. One of the benefits of having Seesaw for Schools, the paid version, is that we have access to the activity library. So I clicked on activities, and then I clicked on browse activity library. And Seesaw has a very robust community library, which is awesome. There's tons of resources in there for you to use. My guess is you've probably already used them if you're not new to Seesaw. And so I can search for, you know, a math activity. If I want second grade, you can choose by grade level, and I want subject area as math. And I just want to see what's out there. Maybe I want a place value. Maybe I want a place value activity. Okay, place value basketball. Okay, that looks cool. All I have to do is click on it. And then if I like it, okay, yep, that looks good. I'm going to click the heart. And if I click the heart, that then adds it to my library so that I can go in and edit this and maybe see how it says play instructions. That's going to be Taryn's voice. I may want to re-record that and have it be my voice so that I can then assign it to kids. If you like it just the way it is and you don't want to make any edits to it, you can go right up here to assign, click on the class that you want to assign it to, and then click assign to one class. But I usually recommend going into my library and editing it and making it your own. If you go into the school and the district library, you can find things that people within our district have created, which is really neat. Oops, sorry. You can also just change it to your school or just the district, but I have district and school. Let's say I want to find something for morning, a morning message or a morning meeting or something. Here's an activity that Abby, one of our instructional coaches, has created, just pretty generic sample morning message. Where would you like to visit and why? So I see the heart is already pink, which means that it is already in my library. So I'm going to come over to my library. And in my library, again, is where I can copy the activity and edit it. So this is the activity that was Abby's. You can tell that it's Abby's because it says her Abigail Espegard here. And I'll open it and then click the 3 dots and click copy and edit activity. So now this is my own version of it. And I would probably take out sample and I don't know, you can change the template. And then when I'm ready, I click save. All right, so this is the activity that I want to share with my students. So then all I need to do is click assign, choose the class that I want to assign it to, so remote. And if I want to assign it to all of the kids, I just click assign. If I wanted to maybe differentiate and assign it to like 3 kids, maybe it's a reading activity and you want to assign it to different reading groups, different activities, you would click edit students and then uncheck all kids and then choose the specific kids that you want to assign it to. Click the check mark and then you'll see that now it says 2 students. I only have 4 students in my class, including the sample kid. Like I said, you can assign it to your whole class or a group of students. The other cool thing that you probably know is that you can schedule send it. So I want to send it to all my kids, but I don't want them to get it right now. I want to assign a specific date. So let's say I want them to see it on Friday and I want them to see it at 11 o'clock. That's when the activity will be posted. And if you want to, so now if I go back to my class, I have a new, I didn't accidentally, but I assigned this twice, the original one. So I actually want to delete this activity. I don't want them to do the sample morning message. I want them to do the one that I created. Here's the activity that I want them to do. And then the ones that I have scheduled, I can come over here and it shows me this is scheduled for March 13th at 11 a.m. The other thing that you'll want to be aware of is if you archive any activities, I don't have any activities archived because this was my brand new blank class. But if I go into a different class that has some activities, if I want to archive an activity, I'll come over to activities, click the 3 dots. I want to archive that activity. The student work doesn't go away, but the activity doesn't fill up the feed anymore. So I can click archive. But if I want to see that again, I can come over here and see my archived activity. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to go back to the class that I was in before. showed you how to share an activity, how to save an activity, how to differentiate. And the last thing that I wanted you to be aware of is as soon as you get your new class, you're probably going to have some kids that you had before, and you're going to have some new kids. And so your class list, you're not going to, from your new class, it's going to be blank. You're not going to have any student data for any of them or any journal posts. So what you can do once the old classes have been archived, so let's say around March 20, I think probably by the 22nd, maybe even earlier, probably earlier, maybe by the 20th, you can come up to your name in the top left corner and click on school-wide portfolios. And you'll click on, well, you probably only have one school. So you'll click on your school and your current students, all of your current students will show up in this list. And if let's say I already know Henry, he was in my class before. I don't really need any of his stuff, but Jennifer, if she's new to me and I kind of want to browse through her stuff, you can click on Jennifer's name and click on the class that you want to see her work from. So all of the Seesaw classes that she's been a part of will show up over here. So that would be the class that they were in earlier this year. Maybe if a teacher, they were in a class where the teacher used Seesaw last year, they will show up here and I can click on the class. And then if the teacher had any folders, they were using any folders in the class, like maybe they were using a writing folder, I have a math folder here, I can narrow it down to whatever folder area that I want to choose. So I'll click, oh, this is the math journal, although I don't have anything in there for her. But you would be able, you'll have a lot more kids, a lot more journal posts because they've been in the whole year. So again, all you need to do is go up to your name in the top left corner, click school-wide portfolios. You'll be in your school, click on the kid's name whose journal posts you want to see, and then you can scroll through all of the activities that the kids have done this year, if you want to choose their classroom this year or a previous year. We have about 4 minutes left, and I definitely want to honor time. So I'm wondering if we have any more questions.
I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're browsing through the library, this is Laura.
Hi, Laura.
By the way, if you're browsing through the community or the school, wherever thing and picking out things you like for the future, is the most efficient way to do that just to put it like into a collection. Weekly links I'm pushing out, I don't want all of it to get pushed way down.
Yeah, and you know, this is a great question to refer to the group. Does anyone want to answer Laura's question on how you do it? What's most efficient for you? Because you guys are the experts. When you're adding a new activity that you want to use later, it just gets a little unwieldy inside of your activity library.
Make a folder for it, then you can just look in the folders. Because like I do all my schedules, I make a folder for it each time. So then if I wanted to use graphics or something from a different schedule or pull up, if we have like our Wednesdays, some of the Wednesdays are always the same. And then I could just repost that schedule in the morning and I can sort or see it more quickly through the folder.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to reiterate a question that came through on the chat since we only have a minute or two. Can you speak again about what assignments kids will see? Will they see the old assignments that have been in their Seesaw? I'm a librarian. Will they see all of my old library assignments or only the new ones from now on that I post?
You mean after the new classes have been created and we archive the old classes, they won't see any of the old activities unless, so are you getting you're getting brand new Seesaw classes too then, right? Yeah, they won't see the old stuff anymore. That's all gonna, but they won't see it. You won't see it, but you can access it if you want to see it, if that makes sense. It won't show up in the Seesaw course though, in their journal, no.
So for all intents and purposes, all of the work we've done all year, if you're a math teacher or something like that, is gone. And
it's
kids
not
can't go back to it.
You can go back, it's not gone. It's just not something that they will be able to see. They can go download the journal if they want. If they want to download, I can show you how to do that as well. Would you like me to show you how to download the active student journal with all the posts?
Sure,
so,
thanks.
Yeah, so if you go up to your name and you click on the gear and account settings, Scroll down to download journal archives, and all of your kids, and you're a librarian, so you're gonna have a ton of them, are gonna show up here. And you can click on download the journal of this student, Rosie Kraft, and then all of the work that they've done is gonna show up from this. So all of the classes will show up and all the students will show up. So the kids from this class, I'm gonna download that journal. It's just, it takes a lot of work, and the way that the zip folder, the zip file that you get, it's just a little hard to pull stuff out of it because they're not the naming conventions, and it's just, you have to kind of click on stuff, but it's not gone. And it's easier to view the work from the school-wide portfolio after the classes have been archived. It just won't show up in their journal. Cynthia?
I'm still a little bit confused about how I'll look at the students that I'm keeping that I've had all year. Like, let's say I want to look at their progress in writing, but is it all going to disappear and I have to find it in a special spot to
Yes.
be able to, so I want to compare what they've done. So you said I can either download
Okay, so for in that particular instance, Cynthia, you might want to go into any students that you know that you're keeping and that you have record for, and there's like 1 or 2 journal posts that you know you're going to want to keep. You can just save the journal post. And so if I'm in Jennifer's journal right now and I want this post, I click the 3 dots and I click save. And then it just saves it to wherever you want it to go. I can put it in my downloads folder. It's on my others. Oh, here it
Okay.
is. So I can put it wherever I want, rename it that student's name so you know. But you can do that now. But you can always go back to the school-wide portfolio, and then you'll see all of your current kids, and then you would have to go through all of the work that they have in that portfolio.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is after 11:30. I'm more than willing to stay on and answer questions. But for those of you, that is the end of our presentation for the kind of Seesaw basics. But please don't hesitate to reach out to your instructional tech coach. We're here to support you. Hopefully this was just a refresher for you. And of course, remember to refer back to the website, because there's a lot of information on the website.